lesson, you're going to learn the basics of how to use your bow staff, both spinning and with some strikes and some self-defense. We're going to warm up by spinning your staff. Your hand starts in the middle. I have a heavy staff. If you have a light staff, you can go faster. If your staff is very heavy, I want you to start not so fast at the beginning because you can pull your muscles a little bit. You're just going to go slow from side to side. It's going to build power in your forearm. It's going to warm everything up to keep you safe from injury during this training. After 30 seconds in one hand, bring your palms together, pinkies together, palms up, and then turn it out on the other side. Hello, Studer. It's good to see you. I'm back. We're working on our bow staff again today. I've developed an online curriculum. I've always had the online curriculum, and it's always been available, but I'm going to make it more obvious on how to find it if anybody wants to get their certificate or a belt in the bow staff in weapon martial arts. I've offered that for about 20 years. I do a lot of that in person. I do some of that online, but I don't always share that in these videos. So if you're interested in getting certified in using the staff, let me know, reach out, and I'll show you how to do that with me. Thank you, Alita. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for that super sticker. Oh, I'm gonna watch that guy up there. I want you to bring it to the side, and as we turn it, I'm gonna bring it up a little bit closer. You can see that your hand is closed. You're just turning it to build power in those forearms. This is gonna make your forearms, your shoulders, your upper arm, your chest, your back very strong as you turn it from side to side. It's gonna make it easier for you to learn bow staff and get good at it, both the spinning and the striking for self-defense. After you do that 30 seconds on one side, put it on the other side, bring it out to the side, and you're gonna turn it. Danny, good to see you. Danny says, good to see you. Thanks for the instructions, my pleasure. Thank you guys for being here. Ong Song Mu? Oh no, Ong Song Mo, sorry. Ong Song Mo says, great. Good to see you. Hope I pronounced that right. It's been a while since I've been reading in Korean. Just going side to side. After 30 seconds there, you're gonna go up, overhead, and turn again from side to side. And when you do this overhead, you're gonna feel it really light up the back of your shoulder, making that much stronger. Once you do that for 30 seconds, bring it to the other hand. And all you're doing all the different planes of motion that you're gonna move your staff through. It's gonna go through the transverse plane, it's gonna go overhead, it's gonna go to the side, it's gonna go in front of your body, sometimes it's gonna go behind your body. By doing this warm up at the beginning, you're activating the muscles that allow you to do that, so you're gonna get there faster in this beginner bow staff training lesson. After 30 seconds here, we're gonna bring it down in front of the body again. We're gonna start to go from one hand to the other hand. Bags is here from Nova Scotia, good to see you. Bags says walks with a cane sometimes, was hurt during military service. Lessons help to bring back your confidence. So thank you, you're welcome, thank you. Dave, good to see you again. Truth hurts, so cry about it. Going from side to side, it's a funny name. Our names or avatars sometimes have more meaning, sometimes they have less. You're just going out from side to side. This is gonna help you start to teach your body how to move this stick from one hand to the other hand, which you're gonna use a lot in self-defense, and also if you do what we call bow staff freestyle, where you start to spin your staff and turn it behind your back and bring it in front and swing it through your fingers and maybe go up over your head and down, and all of this hand-to-hand stuff will get you there faster too. Once you do that for about 30 seconds, you're gonna go up over your head and do the exact same motion. So you were here going out. When you lift up over your head, it's the exact same thing. You're gonna really feel the power build in your forearms, in your shoulders, in your upper chest. Make sure you're pulling your stomach up and in. That'll stabilize your body and activate your core muscle improving your posture as you do this from side to side. Now I'm going to have you turning it up like this behind your back. And when you go up behind your back, your other hand is going to come thumb up. So it's going to kind of look like this, going from side to side. And you're going to be doing that behind your back. I'm going to turn around so you can see that. Hand comes under, both thumbs up. I always have to watch that thing over my head. This is my 6-foot staff. I gotta adjust it a little bit. You can hear it when it hits the ground. That's okay. Just adjust it in your hand. Now, once you can go behind your back like that, bring it up over your head. Do that turnout. Go behind the back, over the head. And from the very beginning, try not to hit the garage door opener. From the very beginning, you'll be doing kind of a cool trick here. And we're not doing it because it's a trick or because it looks good. You're doing this to teach your body spatial awareness, timing and distance, proprioception. You want to know where your stick is as it moves through space and time. That's a great thing to teach your body as you learn self-defense or martial arts. So just practice over the head, behind the back. Do that for about 30 seconds. Bring it back to the front of the body. You're gonna go side to side. Now this is a 6-foot staff. You could also use, this is a 54-inch staff. You could use a 5-foot staff, a 48-inch staff. You can use whatever you have. You can use a broomstick, you can use a mop stick. These are Cane Masters walking sticks. I'll put a link below. These are very expensive, but you'll only buy one because they're pretty much indestructible. You can break them if you really, really try, right? But it's a really good option if you're really into using this. But I say invest your time before you invest your money. There's also a link in the description where you can get a less expensive martial arts staff, or do what I did. Use a mop, a broom. Look over there, got tons of brooms and mops on the wall. A broom, a mop, use a sanding pole, a painter's pole, use whatever you have. So you're gonna start with your right foot forward, your right hand in front. Invest your time before you invest your money. See if you like it first. But if you've been doing it for a while, you can upgrade. Check those links, see what they cost, or find them somewhere else, make your own. All you're doing here is you're carving a sideways figure 8. Call that the infinity spin. Student asks, how do you do it with all 4 fingers? Is this the one you mean? Student, the key is this is so elusive in my experience as I work with you in person. Almost everybody can get it down to here and then it falls to the ground. But the key is when holding it with the ring finger and the pinky, the first finger has to go back up. Now, student, what I would do if we were working in person is I would have you use your other hand to keep it from falling to the floor. And not because, it's a problem if it falls down. I encourage you to drop your staff as much as possible because you learn faster that way. But when learning this finger roll, I go really slow, use the other hand. And this is a really heavy staff. So I'm really muscling this through. Once you get it going though, the momentum of the staff itself will allow you to do that. That hand's getting worn out, so I'll switch it over. So you can see there, it's the same basic thing, but it's the same thing like if you flip a coin between your fingers, and it's always instinctive in my experience to get it to the bottom, but then getting it to come back up is the hard part. And that's where you have to consciously tell your hand, okay, now I'm here, pull the finger behind it and pull it back up. And you'll also notice that my hand is more perpendicular to the ground. I think when we work in person, sometimes I see people are getting more parallel to the ground, and that makes it harder to get this finger to get it over here, because you've got to move your whole hand. But if your hand is more perpendicular, when you get there, see, it just pops right in. Thank you, Steerder. Thanks for that. You didn't have to give me that super chat for that, but I really appreciate it. So the figure eight, we carve with the thumb pushing down, and you're making two circles. You're making a circle on one side of your body, and then it connects and it makes a circle on the other side. And that's that infinity sign, or I call it a sideways figure eight. As you do this, I really want you to pay attention to stomach up and in, abs tight, get your other hand up, tuck your chin, breathe through the nose, out through the mouth. When it's in your left foot hand, put your left foot forward. Slow as smooth, smooth as fast, take your time, get your ego out of the way. Drop it, pick it up, drop it, pick it up. I don't drop it as much as I did at the beginning, and you won't drop it very much once you've been doing it for a long time. Just trust that that's the truth. But you still want to be able to drop it. Even I want to push myself so fast and try new things and learn new things and then drop it because I'm trying to do something new. But you always will grow when you get out of your comfort zone. So allow yourself to drop it. You're now going to go to the front and the back of your body. We were going side to side here. Bring your feet up neutrally under your body and then go forward and back. Exact same spin, two different planes of motion. To go faster, squeeze your belly and push with that thumb. Push, pull, push, pull. Other hand, same thing, slow as smooth, smooth as fast. This beginner bow staff training lesson will get you there faster if you break it down into these little pieces. And you do just a little bit, 30 seconds each hand over a period of a month, 2 months, 3 months. You'll start to really master the basics. You'll feel good about what you're doing. Your confidence will grow. You'll feel stronger. Now that you've gone figure eight forward, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to pull it in reverse. And in this way, I want you to imagine pulling with your pinky. Pull up, pull up. Haves Edit says, new to martial arts, which should you start with first? If you have martial arts schools around you or instructors, go talk to them and find one that you like as a human being. That's the best advice I could give. Don't sign up with somebody who you get a weird sense about, or you feel like they might be full of crap. Don't go with them, because they probably are. Don't go with a guy who's, just trying to be tough and mean. He's probably never been in a fight in his life. Try to find a good school. If you're interested in self-defense, I love boxing as an entry point. I like Muay Thai as an entry point. I like to also recommend that at some point, whether you start in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or you finish in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or you add that later, you add some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in there, because you need to learn how to fight on the ground and you need to learn how to stop someone from taking you to the ground. You can also study Western wrestling, like if you're still in school, especially here in the United States. A lot of schools have wrestling programs, and you're gonna get tough and you're gonna learn a lot about self-defense and fighting and wrestling. Judo's good, really good. Traditional martial arts are good, but whatever you can find. Even if you got like a Kung Fu guy or a Jeet Kune Do guy, or there's value in all of them. Yeah, Rex says no, or Studer says no Rex Kwon Do. I would stay away from the Rex Kwon Do, and believe it or not, the Rex Kwon Do, and then there was another movie where they did a whole movie parody about those goofballs. And I can't think of the name of it. Foot Fist Way, the Foot Fist Way. And I cringed that whole movie. I have mixed feelings. I'm laughing and crying at the same time. And I'm crying because it's so accurate. There's so many goobers like that in our industry. And there are a lot of great guys, men and women who are legit, hardcore, good martial artists. But it's like in the old days when people would come into the school and they see me teach, and it would remind them a little bit of Mr. Miyagi, and they would say things like that. And then They would think all martial artists were like Mr. Miyagi, but the reality is they're not. I was blessed to be able to come up with an enlightened Korean instructor who was the real deal and learn that way. And he was a lot like Mr. Miyagi, but he was human. He was as flawed as the rest of us. But you'll find that there are a lot more Cobra Kai guys. And I know that they turned that whole thing around and people now, for some reason, love Cobra Kai as if there's some goodness in there. I think it was smart the way they rewrote that and changed the script. But think about the old Karate Kid movies. The guy was a jerk. He was a goober. Not the new TV show or Netflix show or whatever it was, YouTube. So you're just pulling side to side, up and out. Once you get that down, then we're gonna go back to a split stance with one foot in front of the other one in your right hand, that right foot's forward. You're gonna do a figure eight. And when you come to the opposite side of the body, this is my right hand, so my right hand's on my left. My left hand's gonna take it, palms up, pinky to pinky. Turn it to the right. And you're gonna take it in the opposite hand on the opposite side of the body. This is where you can really start to speed up once you get it. Once you've done that for a while, a good way to stop this, I don't always tell you, but if you want to stop that spin, you throw it behind your elbow or your upper arm there, or as it comes through, you can push your hand here to stop it. Especially if you have like a really heavy staff, you need to learn how to throw that other hand in there as a break. Once you bring it to a stop, pull it in reverse, and now the hand pass or hand transfer happens on the same side of the body, left hand, left side, with the opposite hand reaching across, palm up, pinky to pinky, and your hand takes it in front of the other side. Same thing, you speed up here, start to go faster when you're ready, but slow as smooth, smooth as fast still applies. If that's hard, I got a weird pain in my thumb here. If that's hard, slow it down. A lot of times those weird pains will come and go. You let them work themselves out. All right, now the wrist roll. From here, you're gonna turn your hand, open your hand, and let it roll over the back of the wrist. Now, this one is when you're gonna drop this, if you haven't done this before, a lot. And that's where you can use that other hand to assist. See, I'm just keeping it close in case I drop it, I can grab it. Just so that you can learn it faster. But once you get it, start to move it over the back of your hand. You can see your hand opens, the momentum takes the staff over. Your other hand, when it's going to the side, grabs it. Your hand kind of turns out, your hand turns up. Pinky out. So it's a thumb side and a pinky side. Grab it on your thumb side, grab it on your pinky side. Slow as smooth, smooth as fast when you have it. Try the other hand. This is where you should take your watch off. I always forget to take my watch off, but I've been doing it so long I can work around my watch. But if your watch is in the way, just take it off. Yeah, Garen says might be a good idea to wear steel toes too. I think I've said before, I used to have, they're in Ohio. I'm sure Mr. Brown still has them. He took over the school. Some heavy staffs that'll cut your toes off that I would use just to build power in the forearms and the shoulders. You can't do as many cool things with it's super heavy. They're like thick steel, like a barbell, 45, 50 pounds. But I do not recommend that. That's a good way to rip the tendons out of your forearms. Like I said, chop your toe off. So once you get your wrist rolls down, you're gonna go back into your figure eight, forward, right foot forward. When you bring it to the right side, you're gonna wrist roll over the pinky side, the small side of your hand. When you bring it to the opposite side of your body, it goes over your thumb side. So you're doing your figure 8, you throw in wrist roll, you do figure 8, wrist roll, wrist roll. By the way, if you use nunchucks, this is going to help you get the wrist rolls with your nunchucks much more quickly. A lot of these moves are exactly the same with other martial arts weapons. Now, none of this is self-defense. This is all cross-training for self-defense. When you get on the other side, I'm going to show you in a minute how we're going to use this staff. Basic, simple way to defend yourself if you need it. And the great thing about a staff is if they have something like this, a bladed weapon that they're coming at you with, you've got a 6-foot reach advantage. I don't care how you can have a machete. You can keep him back and keep him from getting close enough. And with a Cane Master staff like this one, this is Cane Master's, they call them walking sticks. This is the bow staff. There's a link in the description. This is made out of hickory, and as long as you keep it well oiled, it's gonna be nice and heavy. It's gonna be flexible and strong. And if you hit someone in their head for self-defense, you can easily knock them out. You can stand behind it, point your thumb, thrust right through his nose, his teeth, his face, his eyes, his throat, his solar plexus, into his groin. From here, you can push the backhand forward, breaking his knee, smashing his leg, knock his foot out from under him, bringing it down across his temple, his jaw, his neck for self-defense, all in this split grip. So you're here, point your thumb, thrust. You can punch to the head, You can bring it down over top of his head or onto his hand if he's reaching out with that knife. You can bring it up, coming up from here. Simple move. I want you to keep it super simple. So from here, point, push, straight up between his legs, down over top of his head, through his face, against his chin, down across into his jaw or maybe into that neck. From here, you can turn and smash. 2 hands, you can box his ears. And when you're ready, switch your hands. So this is another way that I want you to practice. And this is called hand walking. So this way, from one position to the next without having to take your hand off your staff so you don't ever lose it. You don't knock it to the ground while you're defending yourself. Is hand rolling or hand sliding. Strike. Now you're in a different position, right? Strike, block, turn, strike, thrust, backhanded thrust, switch hand position, thrust, front hand. So it's very versatile if you allow yourself to learn sliding your hands next to each other. Your hand never has to come off, or hand walking. That's also going to build power in your forearms, give you better control of your staff. All right, we did the forward spin with wrist rolls. I also want you, when you're ready, you might not be ready right from the start, but do your reverse spin. And the reverse spin, wrist roll, goes over the thumb on the same side and over the pinky on the opposite side. So you can do forward spins with wrist rolls, and you can do reverse spins with wrist rolls. I just wanted you to see that. We already went over a little bit sorry about that, that's the other staff. That's the shorter one. I want to get close enough so you can see my fingers. So this is a 4-finger wrist roll, and this is a continuous finger roll. And that's good for extending your hands, getting rid of tendonitis in your elbow, keeping those healthy and strong because you're working both extensors and flexors. When you're ready though, you can turn that into a 3-finger roll. So it's almost exactly like the wrist roll. So you're holding it here with your pinky, your thumb is gonna take it, and your fingers are gonna grab it. So you're back into this position where you're holding it. So the reason you might do that, last 3 fingers, turn, thumb takes it, close it. You might be spinning and go back into spinning. There's a wrist roll. You might want to throw in the finger roll. That's where you would go over the last 3 fingers. lost my momentum there. Grab it, and then continue to spin. So I want you to practice both continuous finger rolling. And this is gonna fatigue your forearms very fast. You're gonna get tired very quickly. Just throw it into the other hand. Do it over there for a while. Once you've done 4 fingers, go to 3 fingers. I call it 3 fingers with a thumb assist. Esperanza Neri asks, is this bow staff tough? This is made out of hickory, so it doesn't flex like a rattan. I put a link in the description if you want a martial arts staff. They have rattan, which I also like. It's more of a Chinese style Kung Fu staff. But they're flexible and they bounce. These don't bounce. These are made, this is for defending yourself. This is for self-defense. You can strike, you can easily knock someone out, break someone's bone for self-defense using this staff. It's very, very heavy. I'm trying to read my Cyrillic, the Russian, Nabyak? I don't know anymore. Pin spinning, yeah, you can do the pin spinning. It's the same kind of thing. Mr. Quakes, can you do it fast? Yeah, you can spin. I think you're talking about the finger spins. You can do the finger spinning fast. You can spin fast. There's a style, it's hard to do in here. Let me grab the other staff because the ceiling is too low. We could do this outside. We can do all of it. But when you start to spin the staff quickly, almost lost it there. If you do, just pick it up. My hands are getting super sweaty. When you go to 2 hands, it's faster. If you were to do it more Selambam style, Indian style, or Indonesian style, Philippine style, then you could increase the spinning that way. And that's also a great way to fight and defend yourself. So it just depends on how you do it. With the short staff, there's also spinning with the short side forward. And those are strikes. He's coming in, and then you hit him, and you can bring it back this way. Bring it up over the top of his head, down on top, and it throws it into that other hand so you can fight. This would be the Joe. Nangun, Chinese bong. I've also heard Chinese call it the bong, the gong. What do the Koreans call it? That's fine, I'm drawing a blank. Bang. Yeah, just stick. Bow staff means, bow means staff. So when you say bow staff, it's staff. I don't know if anybody's thrown that in there yet, but that's, yeah, you roll it onto your foot, you roll it back to your foot, grab it, top of your toes, kick it up. That hip hurts right now. It's easier and on the mats, it's harder on the concrete, but it works. Once you do it enough, you'll start picking it up with your toes, you'll start flipping it up with your foot. Just get tired of reaching over and pick it up. Alita says, thanks for today's lesson. You're welcome. Let's see. Pompeii Fight Nation, great to see you. Oh, let me see what we got. And Kita Rawat says, love from India. It's nighttime in India, so good evening there. Bahrain VR, everybody's Kung Fu fighting, that's true. We love to do that. Oh, Andrew threw that in. Andrew asked earlier, why do you call it a bow staff? Bow means staff. I call it a bow staff just because, and someone said capoeira. I love capoeira. You can do some cool stuff with capoeira and a staff, like in Albatito. You do a lot of upside down kind of kicks and stuff, and then have your staff stand up. Because a lot of the capoeira, the Brazilian martial art, you go upside down and you kick with your feet. It reminds me a lot of like top rocking and breakdancing, like a million years ago. Oh, now I have that image of the Olympic breakdancing lady. That poor lady, man, she got fried. I don't know how she got on the team, but let's not talk about that. All right, try to focus. I want to make sure I gave you all the skills I wanted you to work on in this very first bow staff beginner training lesson. We had the warm-ups. We had hand-to-hand turning. We went overhead. We went behind the back and overhead. We did figure 8, forward and in reverse. We did hand-to-hand figure 8, going from one hand to the next. We did the same thing going in reverse. Then we did wrist rolls. And then we did wrist rolls in the figure 8. And then we did finger rolls, both 4 fingers, and then 3 fingers. And then we did the figure 8 with the finger roll. And then we talked just a little bit, stand behind it, point the threat. This is a blocking motion. If you want to intercept someone's strike, pull. Notice that your front hand doesn't go anywhere. It turns, but the arm doesn't really move, the wrist moves. Backhand comes up, that's that traditional karate, taekwondo, hapkido, whatever you want to call it, traditional martial art blocking motion. Comes up here, and then you would roll a strike back down. So you might intercept, step to the side, striking down, either hitting his wrist. You'd want to hit his wrist if you could get it, or hit his stick. If he's having a stick or a sword, you would knock it out of his hand. And so you could practice that by thrusting a little bit, because if you get this motion, you kind of want to thrust into it. But practice lifting, step, step. From here, right, left. My left was, your left was forward. So you're stepping 1, 2, and I've created an F, stepped off the angle. I'm no longer, this is centered on you, now I'm off at the angle. When you do that, intercept. That way if you miss him, he goes right by you. And then this hand kind of turns. And this hand kind of just pushes. So as this turns, comes down. Well, I was gonna hit that thing. That's the garage door opener. So you can practice strike, block, step off the angle, strike, switch hands. Always do it on both sides. 1, 2, 3, switch hands. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, and then you can start to do it more flowing as you're moving. After that, I would recommend going into like trying to do some freestyle, but we'll talk about that on the next lesson. Yeah, Michael says poor ray gun. It's you either have great self-awareness, or you've created an environment where no one will tell you the truth. And I don't know. Who knows how that happened, how that person got there. I was always been passionate about the Olympics. I always thought I'd go to the Olympics in Taekwondo. I had an Olympic instructor, my Taekwondo instructor, and I grew up with and fought with a lot of guys on the Olympic teams, guys and girls. And so it's a big part of my identity. But I tell you, and Taekwondo has changed so much in the Olympics now, I don't like it at all. It's like, I still respect a little bit what they're doing because I understand what they're doing, but they've taken all the fighting away from it and they've made it just a game. And I know why they've done it. And it's the wrong reason, in my opinion. It's all about money. It's all about what looks good on TV instead of being real fighting. However, you still have to be able to do the thing. You still have to be able to jump, spin, kick, fight. You can't just show up and do like a 1982. That's what we were doing with the parachute pants and the Kangol hat in 1982. Slick Rick. I love Slick Rick too, man. Slick Rick was legit, but I don't think you can do that. Thanks, Alita. Good to see you. Yeah, they did the same thing with fencing. Fencing is another sport that was like so passionate. I always wanted to be an Olympic fencer, and I studied fencing. And we never had great fencing around us. We had lane fencing at the YMCA. Every once in a while, I've run into great fencing instructors, and that just a little bit, you learn so much. But they put all the sensors on, they put the thing on, and it's all and it's the people who are running these sports who are making that money, because the rest of us aren't making any of it, and they want to make more of that money, and they like, how can we make it look more exciting? Well, how can we make it more? How can we go back to what it was when it was self-defense? It was real fighting, and it was a competition. And now it's like, it's so ugly to watch. And I'm so glad that I don't teach kids how to do that kind of stuff anymore. I would never. It's just such a waste. Can you imagine getting your black belt in Taekwondo now and then getting in a fight? You'd be toast. Anyway, we'll leave that. Yeah, from the internet to the internet says in the next Olympics they're going to replace breaking, or what do they call it, free dancing, beatboxing with the spelling bee. My daughter's really good at that, by the way. She could go to the Olympics in the spelling bee, and she would probably dance better than Ray Gun. So we'll see that. All right, anyway. But okay, Selin Quintero asks, what would you recommend for beginners to learn? Start with this, watch this one workout over and over again. I promise you, if you do all the things with me, you can turn the volume off, and up in the right-hand corner, there's 3 little dots, hit that, and do the playback speed, bring it down as slow as you can or as slow as you need, and then do what I'm doing and zoom in and watch the things and learn these basics. Because if you do these every day, just a little bit at a time, after a month, you're gonna master the basics. After about 3 months, you'll get really good. Then we can do a lot of really cool, more advanced stuff. But these are like the basic building blocks of the move. It's like learning your alphabet. You learn the alphabet, then you learn how to spell words. After you learn how to spell words, you start to put them in sentences. Then you learn the punctuation marks. Then you start to put sentences together to make paragraphs. And then paragraphs together, you learn what paragraphs go into an essay or a story. Then before you know it, you can write a book and you're like the next Hemingway or great author or whatever. But you start by doing your handwriting and writing the letters and then putting them together to make words. These are the letters, right? This is a letter, and then this is a letter. And then when you start to do it together, you start putting sentences together, you start learning some cool techniques and how to weave them together, and then you're talking, you're telling the story. So break it down into small pieces and then you'll be able to do it. True Human Experiences says, hello, lovely to see another Bo Staff lesson, thank you. Growing day to day on your side. Has your 22-hour progress video almost uploaded. We'd love to have you check it out. Please send that to me in Dropbox if you can, or like Google Documents, and I'll look at every minute of it, and I'll get you some feedback. All right, Selin, thank you. Thanks everybody for being here. Thank you again for those super chats. That really helps. And like I said, I'm gonna create a landing page where you can go just for the bow. If you want to earn a belt, I'm going to show you how, or tell you how to do that. It's going to be very inexpensive because I'll just have you pay a little bit for my time. It doesn't take much time for me to give feedback. And then if we need to, we can get on like a FaceTime or something, and I can give you some direct feedback. And then, after an amount of time passes, and then you've done the work every single day, and you've developed the skill and the ability and the knowledge, then we'll recognize that with a certificate and a belt, just as if we were here in person. If you and I were standing here, and this were my dojo, and right now this is my dojo because I had to close the school when I got my hip replacement. But if we were here in the garage training together, and you were paying me for my time as a whatever degree black belt you want me to be, I'm just laughing because that stuff doesn't matter to me anymore. I spent a lot of years moving up in rank, and now it's like, who cares? The rank means nothing. But if you wanted the belt and you wanted my instruction, and we were standing here and you weren't doing something correctly with your hand, I'm not going to touch your hand to fix it. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to explain to you with my words how to fix it, and I'm going to give you feedback until you get it. I almost never need to put my hand on you to make you do it right. And most great instructors don't have to do that. So we can do that through the internet, which is why when people say, oh, you can't learn martial arts, you can't get punched in the face through a screen. That's true. At some point, for self-defense, you need a partner. If you were learning boxing, you can learn a lot of moves in boxing, but you got to get in the ring. You have to hit a heavy bag. You have to hit a speed bag. We don't have to hit a speed bag, but you at least have to hit a heavy bag, and then you have to hit somebody else while they're trying to hit you, and you have to learn how to move. That's true. But the rest of it you can learn just through your phone, through your computer, through your television. And don't let anybody tell you you can't do that. Yeah, True Human Experience says, can't wait for a one-on-one session and to earn the first belt. Let's get that done. Send that to me when you're ready. All the ways to contact me are all on my website, pasquinelli.com, or you can get it in the description here on YouTube. And it's basically my last name, Pasquinelli at Hotmail, Pasquinelli at Gmail. I have both of those. And or info@Quantum Strong. That's the name of the martial arts school, Quantum Martial Arts. So info@Quantum Strong, or my last name at Gmail or Hotmail. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for training with me today.